What is up, podheads? Back with another episode of the Patio Slave podcast. My name is Tony. I'm joined by Anthony. And yeah, another day, another awesome conversation surrounding nerdery, surrounding music, the thing that we both love. You know, it's probably our favorite thing in the world. And I'm speaking for myself, but I bet you would agree.
I'm nodding. No one can see, but I'm nodding.
But shit, man, like, this last month has been a pinch me month. Like, we've had some really cool conversations with some people that I didn't think we'd ever really talk to. And to be able to get all this and be able to kind of live in this world, man, I love it.
It's been a run. It's been a busy stretch. We've listened to, I think I've listened to more music in this last month. When this is a bold claim coming from someone that had 6 CD binders in his car when he was 16 and was listening to music all day long, who had an iPod Touch that was filled to the gills.
Yep.
Who's got the Spotify cranking all day. Yeah, I've listened to more music than I think I've ever listened to. We've had more interviews or episodes than we've had in the last 3.5 years. It's one thing missing, though, and it's live shows. I've been slacking. And I would say it's probably as a result of being busy with, like, I'll trade a podcast interview for a show. I'm not saying every night, but most nights. Like, yeah, we're in the comfort of our own home. It's cheaper.
Yeah. The prep work is fun because we get to listen to records. Maybe listen to our guests talk with other people on podcasts as well. But yeah, man, I'm with you. We do have we're recording this a day we're going to see a live show tonight, so that will be remedied this evening. But today, Ryan Rumchaks from Knuckle Puck and Homesafe and Rationale and solo stuff. And Ryan is a jack of all trades, and really cool conversation with him today.
Yeah, I like these conversations with, like, true musicians. And I'm not saying others aren't true musicians, but I think it was the Nick Wheeler All-American Rejects episode. I asked him, I was like, were there a lot of musicians back in the Warped Tour, on the Warped Tour back then? He's like, less than you'd think. A lot of people that are just maybe good at their sound. Ryan kind of does it all, right? He does drums with Rationale. He was doing YouTube videos on the drums when he was younger. He was on the tip of it in the early days of YouTube. Bassist of Knuckle Puck, frontman guitarist of Homesafe. He has a solo project that he does. I don't know. I feel like I'm creative in some capacities, but I feel like this dude's brain is always coming up with something.
Yeah, and I mean, and thinking of things through the drum lens to start, because that's where he started, and we get into that here in a minute. But to have all of those different projects and have them all, I say it to him, they sound different. They aren't the same. Like, there's something here for you with one of the projects Ryan's a part of, if not all of them. We like them all. Like, we love all music, and maybe not always equally, but these 4 things that Ryan's a part of, really cool stuff. And we came to him from the Homesafe camp. Like, we found Homesafe first, and got into them early, and then now listening to Knuckle Puck and the new record that just came out this past weekend. Awesome record. Go peep that, man. It's really fun to be able to find these folks who are jacks of all trades and can be, part of all these different cool projects that I don't know how to do it. So it's always wild to me to find out how they do it.
And we've been on a run too. Like, if this is your first episode of ours, most of our conversations are with musical guests from bands we love. We had Todd Mackey of With Honor a few weeks back. We had Sean Cooper of Taking Back Sunday. We've had, go look at it. If you'll be able to find us on social media. Just type in Patio Slave. I don't need to list it all out, but there's a whole catalog there. If you live in this Knuckle Puck Homesafe world, you're going to be right at home. There's 180 plus episodes back there. And check us out. Appreciate you listening.
Yeah, and more coming. We've got some stuff banked that you're going to hear in the coming weeks too that will fit in that world as well. Let's get into it. Ryan Rumchaks of many different things right now.
Thanks for having me on this, guys.
Oh, man, yeah, we're super excited.
We get the cat in there now, too, right? There's a cat in there.
Nice.
Oh, I'm not going to bother her.
We've had the animals infiltrate the podcast in the past, so it's always fun. Oh, man, we're super stoked just because we've been listening to you with Homesafe for a while now, and then I'm newer to the Knuckle Puck world, but really digging what I've checked out. So
thank you. usually the other way around, so I appreciate it.
That's our icebreaker, man. You just like you have the script in front of you. Most people probably know you from that, right? From Knuckle Puck, but
usually that way. But yeah, just every once in a while somebody says Homesafe first, which is kind of cool. So
we're big Homesafe fans. I'm listening to Evermore last night, just on my couch in prep for this. I'm like, man, this is just such a great EP, and one is awesome, and I love it all. Nervous Reaction, all that stuff. So
thank you very much, man. Thanks.
So Ryan, we know Knuckle Puck, Homesafe, per like the internet from Chicago. So is it Chicago proper, or are you from the burbs?
I'm from the burbs. I mean, all of us are.
Oh, so you're one of those that claim the city, because every band claimed Portland from here.
Technically, I guess Nick from Knuckle Puck lives, or used to, he lives in LA now, but he lived in just the outskirt where you're still considered Chicago, but right on the burb. Everybody's pretty much burbs, but we're 15, 12 miles from Chicago every which way now.
Yeah, you can round up then. Like you can claim it.
Currently living though, there's a few of the Knuckle Puck guys in the city proper now, like Lakeview, Avondale. Kev's from Ravenswood. I don't know if those mean anything to you guys, or you guys know any of those, but
I've been to Chicago once. Okay. Long time. I was 18.
Same me.
We had a good time. We went to the Navy Pier, had some of the deep dish pizza, the Giordano's pizza.
Yeah, you got to do the work like that.
Yeah. We did all that, which was fun. We had a good time. But yeah, that was 21 years ago. So but I need to get back, I guess.
Yeah, you're due back.
What was it like musically growing up there? Like you guys, obviously you're close by the big city, so you've got a pretty good scene, I would imagine. We've talked to some other bands. We talked to Tom from Plain White Tees, talking growing up in that area. Like, easy to find friends to jam with, easy to find shows to check out.
Totally. Man, growing up, like in younger bands and stuff like that, even with Knuckle Puck and Homesafe, we all met going to shows not in the city. At least I did. I met them playing like bowling alleys down all the way in Tinley Park. There's a freaking bowling alley called Centennial Lanes. Everybody played shows there. I don't even know if they do shows anymore, which sucks, but that's how I met all those guys. So pretty much like I'm actually not going to the city. It's like around the city, smaller venues and stuff like that.
Were you, so you met him before you obviously were in a band with him. Were you playing music, like playing instruments and stuff, I assume?
Yeah, I started playing drums when I was 10 and pretty much like didn't stop. Didn't look back. I knew I wanted to play music then, and just started little bands here and there, and pretty much it.
Well, I remember there's I saw a video on YouTube. I think you're drumming along to like a Blink-182 song, and you look young. You're
the cover era. Yeah, you just reminded me of that. I did a lot of like little drum covers. That's when I had a couple bands then, but I was still trying to, get out there with doing covers and stuff. So yeah, I was probably 15 or 16 when I did a lot of those videos.
How old are you now?
I'm 28.
Yeah. So this, I think that the date on it was like 10 or 11 years ago. So yeah.
Yeah. Which is kind of OG YouTube right there.
I was going to say that's early.
15 years ago. Shit.
That's early to be doing that. Like I remember YouTube came out in like mid 2000, like 05, 06, but it wasn't like, I don't know what people were posting back then, but it probably wasn't drum covers. You're an OG, Ryan.
And I remember seeing like the main channels where like they'd have an awesome camera and like different angles, and like I wanted to do that. I just had a little webcam and I put a microphone on the top that I think was working, but I really wanted to get the whole thing going like that, but it didn't really work out. But
yeah, you're talking to us today, so it worked out in some capacity, right?
I'm saying my YouTube thing never kicked off, but
there's still time. You could probably
it's still there.
And you've got a lot more seasoning now, and you play everything, right? You play bass, you play drums, you sing, you play guitar. I mean, you can do it all.
Yeah, everything stems from the drums, though. I will say, anybody who plays drums out there,
is that your favorite thing to play?
For sure. Yeah.
So are you drumming? You're drumming in what? Is it Rationale?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is there ever an urge to drum for your other bands, or at least critique the current drummer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all have different style though between like my drummer in Homesafe and my drummer in Knuckle Puck. We were like three completely different drummers, which is cool. I get to sit back and kind of, you know, play with them on a different instrument. It's cool.
One, and then in Knuckle Puck, you're doing the bass thing, right? So you know how important it is probably for the rhythm section to work. So you're part of it still, even though you're not playing drums there. So that's got to be kind of cool.
It took me a long time to, I feel like, learn bass because I was like this crazy drummer kid when I joined Knuckle Puck. I'm like, all right, I'll play bass, whatever. But it took me a long time to like play with a drummer, you know, and play the position of the bassist. It took me a long time to learn that, but I feel pretty locked now. It took a while.
Well, I feel like the bassist, it's like the know your role
Exactly
part of the band. You know, they're typically in the background. You know, don't take that as a slight. It's the reality, right? I mean, right?
That's the reality, and that kind of combats me as a person, which is such a weird thing. It's such a weird, but it's cool. It tames me, you know.
Nice. Do you ever let that kind of untamed bassist go?
Here and there, depends if I've had a couple, 2-3 many.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. So you're doing. I mean, you can play everything. Started with the drums. That's awesome. You're
all right, bud.
Nice, awesome. I'll leave that. I love leaving that stuff.
Going down the stairs. This is good. Right.
So the cool thing about, I think, probably for you growing up in Illinois, just assuming because it's in the tagline for Illinois is in the middle of everything, right? So you've got bands coming through. You've got people to maybe go to shows with, start bands with, and I mean, shit, you started 3 of them, so you're in 3 of them, which is pretty wild. So I'm jealous of your in the middle of everythingness to your band and your musical journey.
How did you end up playing bass with Knuckle Puck? So like you met the guys, was there a tryout? Like, did they even know you played bass?
Yeah, I remember I got a call from Joe. I was in a band called Welterweights. I was playing drums and singing, and we were recording at my older brother's friend's parents' house in his parents' basement. We were doing our first like recording session. He had cool gear and like had like a wall with a window. It was like a cool studio. I remember leaving from recording there, and I got a call from a number I didn't have, which turned out to be Joe from Knuckle Puck, and he asked if I wanted to play drums for Knuckle Puck. And I was like, man, I'm in this band right now. I appreciate the offer. No, like, so that was kind of it for a while. And then I had another band that went and recorded with Nick from Knuckle Puck called High Point that was playing guitar, singing a little bit in that band. And they still hadn't had they had a drummer at that point then. So then they asked me if I wanted to play bass pretty much after that recording session with Nick. So I kind of didn't leave their mind.
So you're like a first round like prospect for them. They were like circling the Ryan wagon for a while.
Yeah. And talking about the drum cover stuff now, you remind me, because Joe said he found me through those.
So they did work. What do you mean? They worked.
Did work out a little bit.
That's great. Yeah. You joined the band. What were those early shows like? I mean, you've been around now a while. Is this the 4th release or 5th release?
This is going to be our 4th record.
4th record, right? So you've been around a while now, and have had, you know, some kind of seminal scene records. What was it like early on, joining in, playing shows?
So much fun, just so much fun, honestly. Because we would play like the bowling alley that I mentioned. We went back there after a few years and played there. Like we had those kind of hometown, we used to be playing smaller show kind of vibe, come back and just playing venues in the city like Beat Kitchen and Bottom Lounge. And then you start playing Metro and House of Blues and kind of being a part of it as it's growing. It's just awesome.
So they were a band for a couple of years before you joined. How was it joining an active band? I almost feel like it's like marrying into a family. Like you're part, you know what I mean? Is it like some growing pains or?
I was the kid. Yeah. I mean, I grew up in that band. I was 17 when I joined. I had graduated high school and like started community college, and I knew I didn't want to be there. So I was like, that's just the way out for sure. So I took that. We went on tour, but I was 17. They're all 3 or 4 years older than me. So I grew up in that band. Yeah, no, I think about that like often. I was such a baby. It was 11 years ago.
It's crazy.
So,
yeah.
Nuts.
Well, because I feel like I would think it's like going into someone's house for the first time. Like you're invited, but like, do I touch anything? Do I, you know what I mean? Like,
how it felt. That's how it felt.
Do I ask for water? Like, what?
Yeah, no. And being that young on top of it, it was just like extra wild. And I'm a rather shy person. I've grown out of it a bit as I'm getting older. I think as we all do, but back then, even worse. So putting that into the mix too, it's just like hilarious. Now I look back, just like laugh at myself.
So you're in the band at 17. You're probably a little, because they'd been around a little bit already. You're probably a little hesitant to kind of drop your knowledge a little bit.
Yeah.
When do you start feeling comfortable, kind of throwing your 2 cents in?
They have such a good. They had and kind of had their sound already. Like great punk songs. Everybody's really good at what they do. Joe's a really good singer, so I didn't really want to. And I'm playing the bass too, so it's like I'm not writing or starting a new song on fucking bass.
Right.
But it took a little while to get comfortable and maybe, throw things out there like that. Honestly, it took a couple albums, I would say. First couple albums, I was just kind of heavier in my shoes, just doing what I had to do kind of thing. After that, I got more comfortable with them as people after a few years. So I guess that just grew with my comfortability as a member in the band, because it wasn't immediate. It very much felt like, all right, I'm going to do this for a bit, figure out my shit. And then now it's like family. It sounds kind of lame, but it's what it is.
Well, I would also think too that in those early days, you're growing and you can see the growth. Like you just mentioned, like upscaling to different venues, and when there's a demand for you, I would think that would make things more comfortable, right? People going to see you guys.
Totally.
I love asking this question. Was there a band in that era that you guys like kind of showed you guys the way, whether it was like this is how you stage perform, this is your banter between songs, like an older brother band that kind of showed you guys the way a little bit?
I would, speaking on behalf of the rest of Knuckle Puck, I would say Real Friends was one of those bands.
Nice.
For sure. It's like their Wonder Years. And then it's odd because for Homesafe, I would say Knuckle Puck was one of those for Homesafe. More like, the live aspect, shows and shit like that. Because Tyler from Homesafe was a big KP fan, and then I joined the band, and it was just like this crazy thing. We were in a band together before. So yeah, it's like a circle like that. It's cool though.
Well, it is a big family in that respect, right? Because you kind of all probably play shows together or are fans of the band going into it, and then then you start or you join Homesafe, you do the Homesafe thing and you're playing guitar and singing. That's a completely different, probably creative muscle for you, right?
Totally.
What made you kind of want to go that route?
I always wanted to do my own thing. Going back to just being a drummer, I always wanted to do my own thing, and I knew I wanted to have another band. Like that I knew that was never going to stop, that creativeness in me. Like I do solo records and stuff like that. I know I'm going to continue pursuing that pretty much. Like, yeah.
Did you have like songs written for Homesafe, or did those come together when you formed the band?
Both, I would say. Yeah. Had some songs before, and then yeah, I'd say both.
Were you trying to do anything super different? I mean, they're in the same vein, right? I mean, there's some similarities for sure, but there's definitely some differences, I would say, listening to both bands.
Yeah. I didn't want to do the same thing. I don't think the same thing was coming out naturally, which was good. But we're 2 different bands for sure. Maybe more toward the beginning, our punkier, more yelling stuff on Homesafe's end was a little more comparable, but I like where we sit now. We're definitely 2 different things for sure. But the obvious comparing more toward the beginning was kind of inevitable. But
did the Knuckle Puck guys feel any kind of way? Because like if Tony was like, you know what, I'm gonna go start another podcast, I'd be like, well, You gonna have time for me, dude? What are we doing? What are we doing?
No, honestly, it was never like that. That respect was always there, which is amazing, and I'm very, very thankful for that. Honestly,
Yeah, because that can go sour, right? I mean,
yeah.
it doesn't. The good thing for you guys is it does not appear that it has, which is great.
Mhm.
And happy to hear you say that everybody's cool with all of it because both bands are great. Like I want output from both Homesafe and Knuckle Puck. I don't want just one. So
Damn.
yeah, yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you get that.
John's in other bands. Kevin from Knuckle Puck, we're all in other bands at this point, kind of, or at least do our own. Have done a solo thing here and there. So it's just kind of a mutual, like, we just want to play music, you know.
And I feel like it has to be, because it has to be like that understanding. Because if it's not, then
Why are we here?
there's going to be turnover. You know what I mean? You're going to be one of those bands that just revolving door because a side project wants to go full time, or or vice versa.
Right.
So obviously, Knuckle Puck probably picking up steam a little bit earlier because they'd been around a little bit longer. Copa said it comes out in 2015. You also have the Evermore EP that following year, so you're really pulling double duty at that point. You've got songs in both sides, both worlds happening. How'd you keep all that straight?
It's like I did it.
Whatever was on the schedule was just going to be happening. Because we did Warped Tour in 2015. That was our first year on. We did 3 of those. So we did that all summer. Then we did a fall tour. Whatever was on the schedule was just happening. And that was a few years toward the beginning like that. That's how that was. But I loved it. I still love it.
And then we haven't talked about Rationale a ton, but at this time, are things active for Rationale too? Yeah,
it's kind of when we have time, when somebody's got an idea, it's like, let's get together, jam. We haven't jammed in a while, but I want more of an excuse to play drums. So I want to go play shows. I'd like to go on the road with Rationale, to be honest.
Would you ever pull double duty and have Rationale say open for
I would
one
love
or the
that.
other? That'd be cool, right? I
mean,
do you think you can pull it off? That'd be a lot of physical activity.
Yeah, I think I could. We did that in 2017. Homesafe opened the Shapeshifter tour for Knuckle Puck for the second album, and that was the one time that it happened.
No drums with those two. So if you're opening with Rationale and playing drums and then jumping into
for sure, that'd be a little wild. Yeah, I had a 2-band break on that tour, so it was Homesafe, a couple of bands, then KP, but that was so much fun. But it has almost happened. I would like to be Rationale. I would do that double duty. People call me crazy, but the guys in KP would call me nuts, but they know I would do it.
You're still physically young enough that you can pull that off. If I were to do that at 39, I don't know that I could. It'd be like a 2-date thing, and I'd be like, all right, guys, we're done.
So I'm trying to like put myself in your shoes. And like Tony and I only have really one creative outlet, which is this podcast. You have, I would say, probably at least 4, just given the 3 bands we just spoke about, and then your solo stuff. Is it always clear where things are going to live? I mean, certainly Rationale, that's the only drum output, but with guitar, like when you're writing stuff, it's like, all right, this is solo, like intentionally solo, or is this intentionally for Homesafe, or this is intentionally for Knuckle Puck?
No, I don't want to sit down and ever intentionally be, okay, this is the next Homesafe song on the first song. I never really want to intentionally be like that. I think it's more of a feeling. I write everything on acoustic. Everything starts there. I think I'll just kind of know, but I don't want to limit it either. I don't want to, all right, this is solo. It's like, why can't that be Homesafe, or why can't that be a riff to show Joe for Rationale or something like that? So yeah, I never want to be too kind of locked down like that.
What about for bass? Like this, or is that part of like a broader creative process?
I kind of like when bass, it's more there's already something here for me to work with.
Right on. Yeah, that's what I kind of figured.
Yeah. I've never written a riff on bass. Just kind of, that kind of made it to a song, I'll say. Of course, I write around on bass, but no, nothing ever really started there. That
it's hard for people to get excited about about like a bass line, like, right, until it's integrated into a song, I feel like. And that's coming from someone who's dabbled with the bass. Like, it's not a slight on bass.
Yeah. Totally. We need more love, though.
you've come to the right place. You have to be what, the 15th, at least 15th bassist we've had on in
Cool.
190 or so episodes.
Cool.
So yeah, we always love to give the bassist some love.
So if we were to do a tally of everyone we've had, you'd get added to 3 boxes. No, 4.
4.
Vocal,
Yeah, vocals too.
bass,
Yeah.
guitar, and drums. Quadruple threat, Ryan.
YouTube sensation, Ryan Rumchaks.
Good at 2 of them. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. So you continue to pull this double, triple duty right through into when the pandemic started, which we don't have to dwell too much on the pandemic itself, but Knuckle Puck puts out a record in 2020. Homesafe put out one in 2021. So you're still living that life right up through the pandemic. Were you more busy creatively with the downtime?
Yeah, I'd say I'm trying to think now because Knuckle Puck recorded 2020, not in 2020.
Right, yeah.
I mean, it had to have been 2019. So things were normal. Then we waited a long time to put it out. And Homesafe was in the studio in 2020 doing Nervous Reaction. And yeah, it was just a weird ass time, honestly, that we didn't know when we were going to put something on. We didn't know when we were going to play shows. So it's like, before it got so creative and like, okay, I know I'm going to be here for a while. I know I have a lot of time. It was kind of just like, what the hell's going on? But that creativeness came from me, at least, and I'm glad it did because I don't think it happened for everybody.
No, it didn't. I mean, I think there are bands that didn't make it. You know what I mean? Like either the touring was their life's blood, and
for sure. Absolutely,
they just pivoted to something else, whether it's a new project or just left music in general.
Yeah, it's wild to think about.
Others leaned into it, like the virtual concerts and or being ambitious and trying to book a tour that would get, rescheduled 6 times.
Yeah, I was kind of part of both of those, the virtual concert, the tour not happening kind of thing. Yeah.
Were you ever worried that one or more than one of those projects might kind of fall by the wayside because of the pandemic? I don't think we've ever asked anybody that question, but were you ever worried about it?
Not really, because I feel like we just know that we want to do this regardless, like no matter what. We just want to get together and make music. So
what keeps you coming back? Because you just said like that was never a doubt. Like what about it keeps you coming back? Clearly you love it, right? I mean,
boredom. No, it's all I have to offer at this point. I don't like to read much. Yeah, it's just I just love it. I love playing drums. Everything stems from that. And then I picked up piano a little bit, and yeah, I just love it. Honestly.
First pianist on the podcast.
Maybe. I have to look.
Well, Peanut's son, right?
Yeah, Peanut's son. Peanut from 311's son played the piano for us.
In the background.
I still got to get mine over here. I just recently, I moved in the spring, so I still got to put some stuff on the walls and want to get my electric piano over here. I still have a lot of stuff to do, but I will not be playing the piano.
Well, if you ever want to debut it for anybody, we'd be happy to have you back to once that piano's all set up and play for us a little bit.
For sure.
All right, so new record. We're talking to you about 10 days before it comes out, right? It comes out on 10/20/2023, which if you're listening to this the day that this episode drops, it's probably out. We're time traveling a little bit, but yeah, excited. Knuckle Puck, Losing What We Love, Pure Noise. What are you feeling right now?
Really excited. It's my favorite record of ours. I think every time it's my favorite record. Every new record, it's my favorite. Every new thing I'm a part of, it's my favorite. That's just the way it is. I don't know. But speaking of piano, there's piano on the record. It's just, I don't know. I think it's our best record. I think it's our best album. The best way I can put it, honestly. I'm just really excited to be here.
Did you play the piano on it?
Yes.
Nice. Was that your debut?
Yep. I think there were keys. There were like electric keys on somewhere on 2020, but never. It's kind of a part in a song, so it's cool. Yeah, I'm really excited. It's different, but it still sounds like us. I think it's our best record.
Listening last night to the 3 songs that are out as of today, which are The Tower, Groundhog Day, and Losing What We Love, which is the title track. The Tower, there's a real good chance for me. That's a song of the year candidate. That song is so good.
Fucking good.
I love that song.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's I'm super stoked to hear the rest of the record, having heard those 3 songs. But that one right there is a standout track for sure. So if you have not listened to The Tower yet, and you're listening to this, I don't know how you haven't, but go listen to it right now. Pause us and go and come back. We'll be here.
Cool little tidbit about that song. That was one of the last ones to be written. I don't know about recorded, but one of the later ones to be written. And John, our drummer, wrote that song on the drums. He had the whole song just of a drum part, and then it just filled in from there, which I thought was pretty wild. John's insane.
So he was overstepping his duties. Do you ever think about doing that? Do you ever think about doing that?
I should do it on bass. Yeah, what the hell? No, but yeah, nothing changed. He had it all written, and then everything filled in. It's pretty wild.
How does that happen for you guys typically? Is it usually, you come with the guitar riff, somebody comes with the guitar riff, or the bass riff, or the drums start first? What's the typical process for you guys when, just say on this record?
Guitar riff. Usually starts with a riff. Or Joe will have lyrics, and I know Nick writes a lot on an acoustic like me. Yeah.
Because what I feel like, just in chatting with people over the last 3 years, like I feel like what's common is the musicians, the band members will come with the song, and then the vocalist comes in, and it gives a vibe, and that's what kind of curates the lyrics. And when I hear bands deviate from that, it's always interesting. Like, what comes first? You know what I mean? I feel like it'd be interesting to retrofit lyrics to a song after the fact.
Yeah.
After you've already written the lyrics, but everyone's different, and I'm sure all my favorite bands do it way different.
Than you would think, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
And who's to say what's better? I mean, no one can say that, because it just works different for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a way you like more? Because you're doing it in, a bunch of different places. Is there a way that feels the most natural to you? 95%
of the time, it's music first, then it's lyrics to music. But then there's the odd times where it's like, that's a cool line, or I see something that's like a cool lyric, or I can make that a lyric, and then. But yeah, that's definitely the latter. Yeah.
You're an interesting case, Ryan, because I almost think of it, as like a band is like creating a movie, and like the director also knows editing, and vice versa, where you're like, every instrument. So for me, I like my voice heard in creative processes, I would think that would be at the same, like, it's satisfying to have someone else do it, but at the same time, like, I'd want to interject my opinion.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's strange. There's definitely like a batting of heads, but in my own head, all different.
Right.
Yeah, it happens, but everything comes together. Yeah.
Have you ever had to pivot to play something else live?
Yeah. Last year, our drummer, John, broke his hand a week into a tour, and we woke up the next day on the bandwagon. John wasn't there. John's at the doctor. What happened?
Ryan pushed him down the stairs to play drums.
He's getting that itch to play drums.
It literally happened right away, pretty much. It's like John's getting an X-ray in his hand. And we're all like, what the fuck? I'm like half asleep and definitely hungover that day. It's like, okay, I'm playing drums. I didn't even like get out of my bunk or anything. I was just like, I'll play drums. And then I look up at Joe, and he's like looking for a bass already, because he's a lefty. He can't just take my bass and play it. He could. He wanted to Jimi Hendrix it, but he's already looking for a bass. He's like, we're doing this. Like, we heard that he broke his hand somewhere in the mix, but yeah, we weren't canceling any shows. It was a weekend. So that was about 3.5 weeks of the 4-piece Knuckle Puck experience.
The bassless experience. Did you have to like learn? I mean, obviously the songs, but you have to like ramp up on the drums, or was it just, you knew it?
Yeah. Going back to kind of learning how to play bass, like with your drummer. I had played with John for so long, and like I totally know and understand his style of playing. So I know what to play on a different instrument. So to get down on the drums and then play to these same songs that I've been playing for, some of them close to 10 years, it was so wild. It was because I would, in my mind, want to stop because I stop on the bass, but then there's just the drum part that goes, and then it was a bit of a learning thing, but we did it. And it was wild. And Joe killed it on bass, and Joe played bass and sang.
Wow.
So
Man.
yeah, that was last spring. That was our spring tour last year.
You got that muscle memory, like you said, where I know I'm supposed to stop here with the bass, but you're maybe not supposed to stop with the drums.
Yeah, exactly.
That's wild. Yeah, I didn't think of that.
It was very strange, but in the end of the day, in my mind, I knew how the drums went. But
yeah,
but me and him played different, so I was probably playing everything too fast and stuff like that. But it was just fun. We got through it.
Just excited up there.
Yeah, for sure. I never thought that would happen. And John's a lefty too, so even at practice, it's like,
oh wow,
I can't just kind of get behind the kid and mess around. I could, but it's like he's a lefty drum setup, you know. And then we took that tour to the UK. This was a couple months later, and I played about 4 or 5. We did about 4 or 5 shows with that same broken hand setup. John came with us because he got his, he knew it was going to be good, whatever amount of days it was later. And he ended up playing like the last 2 or 3 shows, real light, but we kind of got the band back to 100% over there for a couple of shows, which was cool.
So you're kind of a cheat code for the band.
I guess, yeah. R1, R2, R2, left on, right up, left on, right up.
But I mean, play bass, play drums, can sing, like you can play guitar. Like, yeah, if something happens, well, Ryan can do it. We'll just have Ryan do it.
Call Ryan up. Yeah. He just got home. He's tired, but hey, call him. Yeah.
I was so envious of friends that were just naturally musically gifted. They could play by ear, go on any instrument. I'm like, how? Like, why did you get all that and I didn't get shit? You know?
Couldn't give you one of those things. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty badass though, that you were able to, continue to pull the tour off and know that in a pinch you can do that again. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't happen again, but never know.
Well, there's an opportunity to, right? You guys co-headline with Real Friends coming up.
Mm-hmm.
One step closer. We love them. Arm's length, love them.
Awesome.
I mean, kick-ass tour from top to bottom here. And then I know you guys are playing When We Were Young. How is that? Do you have a preference? I'm always curious. I know that there's bands that love the big stage, there's others that would prefer the club,
Mm-hmm.
And you play in multiple bands, so you've obviously had a range here. Do you have a preference
between like festival venue kind of thing, or just like sizes and stuff? Or
yeah, because with the festival, it's a shorter set. Certainly, it's like there's the positives and negatives, right? You get a shorter set, you get a massive crowd, bigger than you probably used to. Yeah. But then co-headline, everyone's there for you.
Yeah. It's cool. I love festivals. I love festivals so much. They're so fun. Usually show up. There's usually free beer, and you get like a food ticket. And the whole day is awesome. Like you said, you're on a big stage. You generally, at least a good percentage of the crowd, don't know you, or they're seeing you for the first time, or just walking by. Like, I love festivals so much for those reasons. We just played Furnace Fest in Alabama last month. That was so much fun. But yeah, festivals are probably my favorite. And then doing a co-headliner, everybody's there for the whole package, and it's great.
And that's a stacked bill that you guys have going out here at the beginning of November.
Yeah, we're excited.
I couldn't help but notice there's a break between Boston. I think the Boston date is 12/10.
Mm-hmm.
I had it here. You have there's 12/10 and 12/12. Like, I mean, 12/11, Portland, Maine. I don't know. Like,
yeah, we should.
Come on up to the State Theater. That'd be a great State Theater show.
Not you should. You will.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'll come up there. I'll bring the piano up.
It'll be cold, but there's still lobster, it's still pretty.
Oh, that's the time. You don't got to ask me. I would love that. Yeah, I was just going to ask you guys too. There's no main show, is there? Damn it.
There isn't a main show, no. There's a Boston show, and then you're off to Pennsylvania after that.
How far is Boston? About 4 hours, something like that, maybe?
Boston to Portland would be 2. Just under 2. Not bad at all. And then Portland back down to Harrisburg is probably like 8. Which is a little long. Right? Yeah, that might be the tough sell for everybody.
That might have been the reason, but I'm here for it. I would have done it.
Come on up and play a solo show. Well, come hang out with us.
All right. Cool.
Ryan, you guys gonna play that Third Eye Blind cover at all?
No, I don't think so. Maybe it'd be fun. We did a cover of Chocolate by the 1975 too.
Ooh,
Years
interesting.
ago. Went right around when we put that out, people just screamed chocolate. It was like the SpongeBob guy, like chocolate in the crowd. We've never played our covers. I guess I'm not going to say never say never, but yeah, I don't know.
Are you guys big Third Eye Blind fans, I take it?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
all of the bands I'm in, I would say.
Yeah, we are
I
too.
saw them for the first time last month. Played
Oh,
Rib
nice.
Fest outside the city, outside Chicago, like an hour outside the city. So we ate some ribs and we saw Third Eye Blind. It was awesome.
That
Rip.
is a killer day.
Rib Fest. It was actually the same weekend as Riot in
Oh,
Chicago,
nice. Okay.
which was very enticing to go to. I'd never seen Queens of the Stone Age. There was a whole ton of bands I wanted to see, but I just took that Rib Fest ticket instead.
Well, I mean, that sounds pretty awesome too. But we
Yeah.
just had Queens of the Stone Age. They were here this summer in Portland.
Nice.
Awesome show. I've seen them. I think it was the second or third, and I think it was my favorite. We get down on the floor, we got up close. That was Anthony. That was one of the better shows I've seen this year. They were great.
Josh Homme's just a robot, man. He's so good. I want to see them.
So many good songs. Just
Yeah.
it's amazing how, and when they play them all for you right in front of you, you're like, wow, that's one I wanted to get today. I'm shocked that we got like in the fade. Like, okay, I'm all in. This is fucking badass.
For sure.
Well, what's interesting about them is they've mastered the art of making a big room feel small. And I don't even know how they did it. And I don't know if you have any tips and tricks. Like, do you change anything from like how you approach it from a big venue to small? Obviously, like the acoustics are different and maybe there's a barricade.
Yeah, that I guess when you play a huge room like that, it's like, okay, it's just you're naturally farther away from people, and
Yeah.
you see the top of all these guys' heads, the security in front of you, and it's just different from playing a little club. But don't really try to go at it differently, you know?
Cool. So yeah, talk to the other guys. Come on up to Portland, 12, 11, that off day. I mean, it would be a lot of fun. State Theater would be a great venue for that show.
I'll mention it.
Yeah.
You
That'd
said
be amazing.
Hey, it's not too late.
it's 8 to Harrisburg, though.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, right around there. That's the tough part.
I think that'll be the catch, but we'll see. We're practicing tomorrow. So
Nice. Yeah, I mean, hit us up if things go well.
Cool.
When would you, so say that happened, when would you leave to head down to Pennsylvania? Would you go that night or the morning?
We'd have to drive that night.
That night. So
Yeah.
that's a tough sell.
Mhm.
And it could be snowy because it's December. That's the hard part. Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Dude, I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah.
It's been such a nice warm fall here in the Northeast that I'm not looking forward to the cold. It's coming though.
You get it up there. You guys get it.
Yes, we do.
When we were there, I got to look up what month that was, but it might have been fall time, but it was just so windy in Maine, where we were. You guys remember where we were, but I can't imagine December or January. It's nuts.
January, February is tough. We can usually make it to Christmas without it being too bad.
Mhm.
Occasionally we'll get some snow before that, but yeah, January and February. Once the holiday, the New Year starts, and you're like, oh, we have 4 more months of this. Like, oh, damn.
I mean, we're on a lake here. You guys are on the ocean. Like, holy shit.
So Ryan, you just put out a solo record this year, around the corner in the near future. I have so many questions, just being like the creative that you are. Like, have you been able to tour off it or play any shows?
No, not yet. I definitely want to. I want to do it justice, though, because there's strings on the record. There's piano forward songs. I will definitely play shows on it for sure. Been doing a little tour would be even better, but I want to do it justice. Probably next year. Hopefully earlier next year. We'll do something, at least here at home. Yeah, and I recorded that 2 years ago. So I sat on those songs for so long. So it just feels really great that they're out finally.
And I can understand that. Like that's probably the one project where you're in 100% creative control, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to make it special.
And I mean, we've talked about Knuckle Puck, we've talked about Homesafe, we've talked about Rationale and your solo stuff. It's all different. Like nothing sounds the same. So
Cool.
the common denominator is you, Ryan, but there's something for everybody there. If you want to kind of dig into what you're a part of, if you've gotten to this point, you probably know that. But check out the solo record because it's cool. I remember listening to it a couple weeks ago. We were getting ready and like, yeah, this is different too. Like I like that it's not quite the same as the other output that you've been a part of.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So where do things sit with Homesafe right now? And you put the cover for Smart Punk's Friends, the Blink compilation of Stockholm Syndrome, which is cool. That's an awesome cover.
Okay,
where are you guys at with that right now?
We are sitting on an EP. We put a song out a year ago. I think it was last September, over a year ago, called Permanent Resolution. That was just a single, like a standalone single, but we're sitting on an EP right now that's coming out. We're waiting on the album art for it, but probably November.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
But and we recorded those songs last year, so just that sitting on the songs kills me, but that's just how it goes. So next month, new Homesafe for sure. We're just waiting on the album art, and yeah,
that's exciting. That's exciting. Yeah. I like
is
that.
It, I don't know if you said it. Is it EP or full length there?
It's 4 songs total.
Oh, 4 total. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Be looking out for that. So I saw you guys at the Middle East last year in September. Would you have played any of those songs then?
Yeah, we would have played Permanent Resolution, which was our song that we had just put out before those shows. So yeah, just one. Not any of the other unreleased ones, though. But
it was kind of by accident I caught that show. So I went down to hang out with some college friends that live in Boston.
Nice.
And my wife obviously knows I love music. She was like, are there any shows in town? And I'm like, I don't think so. She, who's not a music fan, went online and I don't know how she came across it. She screenshotted, it was you guys, Forever Came Calling, like the flyer. Mm-hmm. She's like, I don't know if you know these bands. And I'm like, wait, Homesafe's in the same city I'm in tonight? I don't know about it. I'm going. So I went.
That's awesome.
And I love the Middle East. There's a special place in my heart for Upstairs at Middle East, which is where you guys played because it's smaller cap.
It's cool.
But it was awesome. I really enjoyed it.
That was a good show. I'm glad you came out to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I try to do that too.
Super jealous. You sending videos. I think you storied a couple of videos you made. I was like, damn it, I wish I was there right now.
Impulse shows are the best. The ones that you don't like. It's just you like when I've traveled with my wife, like in Europe, I've caught like random bands just on a whim, didn't even know they were there, and it's the funnest shit. Yeah,
just type in the city like events today.
Yeah.
I love that. I love it.
So maybe we'll do that on December 11th in Maine, and you guys will be here. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see that.
Wait a second, they're down the road. Let's go.
I did that. We played that fest last month, Furnace Fest in Alabama. We had a couple days before driving down, but I noticed Free Throw was playing the night before as like a pre-show to the fest. You guys know Free Throw?
Yep.
Yeah. So I caught them in Alabama. Didn't think I would ever see them in that state, and the show was awesome. Kind of last minute unexpected, seeing a band like that. And they're friends too, so it was a great night.
That's cool, especially around those festivals where like maybe you're there a day or two early and bands are playing around the area in places. Yeah. I think you're doing that with When We Were Young, which this may come out after that happens, but for the record, right? I mean, you're going to play somewhere that Friday before the festival.
Yeah, we're doing, I don't know where it is. We're doing some kind of in-store thing. I think it's full band, which is cool. Usually that stuff's acoustic or weird, but I hope it's full band. I think it is. You know, I don't know.
Show up and start playing the drums, Ryan. You'll be fine.
Did you say you're going?
Oh, no. I wish.
Too many commitments back here.
Yeah. Totally, and it's a 6-hour flight, and I want to. When we saw that come out, we were like, man, we need to go get out there, but tough time of year.
Totally.
But you guys will crush it, or did crush it if this is coming out after, which I don't know yet.
It's got to be weird to be in that mindset with podcasts.
Yeah, we time travel a lot here because and this month has been really busy for us. We've had some cool episodes that are out right now, so go back and check those. But Yeah, who knows? It's sometimes we get busy and don't realize where we're at until the dust is settled. Like, all right, now we have to find places to put these things.
Yeah, we got 6 episodes banked, and like, what's the sequence? Like, yeah.
That's kind of cool though.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. We wanted to, like, be as much bang for the buck for the who we have on. So somebody like you, where records coming out, stuff's out there. We want to kind of put it where it fits for you guys too. So because we're excited for the new Knuckle Puck, excited for the new Homesafe EP, and yeah, man, pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like a curveball question to close us, and
coming up empty.
I'm trying to think. All right, Ryan, if you had your choice, any project, and I know obviously the solo stuff you could do this, but if there was one song that you're like, I want to cover that song, I want to pay tribute to that song, I want to put my own spin on it, the world needs to hear this song through my voice, what song is it going to be?
Man, that's a good question.
Save that one, Anthony.
Horrible on the spot. I'm just trying to think of records now.
Good thing you're on a podcast, which is all on the spot.
Oh, I can.
Yeah.
I can shorten this space right up. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna burn a minute here thinking. Man, maybe something Rolling Stones.
Nice.
Like "Gimme Shelter" or something like.
Ooh,
something
like that.
wild.
That'd be
Just
fun.
maybe really stripped down or something.
I don't know.
No, go full band.
Go.
Oh man, I'm already thinking of the drums right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Something old like that. Something Led Zeppelin maybe.
Oh, okay. Favorite Zeppelin record?
Probably One. It's got to be One. It's
Yeah,
the
One's
first one
great.
I heard. My dad played it in the car, fucking so loud.
Love it. We had a local. We still do have a local classic rock station in Portland, Maine. That for years at 10 o'clock would play the Zepp set. So we'd always try to find our way to the radio, but at 10 p.m., whether we're having beers or doing something else, and and catch the Zepp set. And on Tuesday, we'd get 4 songs instead of 3. And it was always like, it's Tuesday. We got to hit the Zepp set tonight.
Yeah, they do a Stairway to Seven. I don't know if he does.
Nice.
The same kind of whatever.
And
Six to
now
seven.
You just curate your own playlist.
Yeah, you don't need it anymore.
You don't need
I
this.
love the radio, man. I get in the car, I put on the radio.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm a radio person.
It's nice to not have to think sometimes. Just let somebody else do it for you.
Exactly. That's what it is.
Awesome. Well, Ryan, we're gonna let you go. We're gonna get you out on that. We're super stoked for all of the things coming from your camp, from Knuckle Puck, from Homesafe, and the tour coming up here with Real Friends.
Thanks a lot. Thanks.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Too, guys. Thank you.
A lot of fun to chat with you.
Yeah, totally. Maybe again in the future.
Definitely. Thank you for listening to Podio Slave. We are at Podio Slave on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of the places that you can find us on social media. Facebook, Podio Slave Podcast. YouTube, Podio Slave Podcast there. Email us at podioslavepodcast@gmail.com. And hey, if you want to become a supporter, click on the link at the bottom of the episode and give us $1, give us $5. It keeps the lights on, keeps us going. We really appreciate that stuff. Thank you.